All right, we're live.
Okay, so have you seen the Pepsi flavored ketchup?
No,
Okay,
never.
so real talk. Pepsi is launching a Cola Chup as a limited time condiment only available at Chase Field in Phoenix, Yankee Stadium in New York City, Target Field in Minneapolis, and Comerica Park in Detroit on the 4th of July. So it's already passed us, but Pepsi flavored ketchup was a thing for a day.
For a day.
Well,
Surely that's
I
all they
assume it was
need.
a day. I don't know. I don't know if it was more than that. I just know we're all celebrating America, and these guys decided Pepsi flavored ketchup was the move.
That's the way to go. I don't know. Ketchup's already so sugary. It's like, doesn't that just taste like normal ketchup? Like, is it like how much can you really make it taste like that? I
What
don't
would
know.
what does Pepsi taste like?
It's like that's a great question. Honestly, you know who I was talking about this? I was talking to my brother about this yesterday. I don't drink pop anymore except for Diet Mountain Dew. So I
Nope.
don't know.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's
I
like
drank.
super
I'll tell you
weird.
this. I drank a Dr Pepper, fully loaded Dr Pepper, on the 4th, and I
Yeah,
was like, "Whoa, that's a lot." Like there's a lot. There's a lot coming into my system right now. I felt heavy afterwards.
dude. I'll tell you, fully loaded or fully leaded pop hits hits different.
Oh, dude, it just slaps.
Dude, it's like at the track meets, they would give us like complimentary coaches lunches, and it was always like the only drink options were like fully loaded Cokes or Dr. Peppers or something like that.
Oh yeah,
And it just I don't know. I mean, it was good for like half of it, and then I had to like be done.
you just feel terrible.
Yeah, it's
You feel
just
awful.
straight sugar,
Now
straight
imagine
sugar.
putting that on the most unhealthy meat you can imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I just so like what would you dip in the ketchup? You know what I mean? Like what suits Pepsi ketchup the best?
um,
Like
a
Dino
fatty,
Nuggets?
nothing,
Yeah,
nothing good. No, I mean like
no
I
shit.
hope there's someone out there that's like, yeah, I dipped my kale chips in Pepsi ketchup. Good on you,
Yeah, balance it out.
but that's awful.
Yeah. No, I mean, surely that was a one-day thing. There's no way they kept up with that. It can't be.
Well, I mean, it's meant to be a hot dog, condiment. But like,
Right.
what do you put on a hot dog?
Mustard. And I'll stand by that. Mustard.
Yeah, I'm a mustard only guy.
Yeah. Mustard because like I'm already eating crap with the hot dog, and ketchup just like I don't know. It kind of blends in with it blends in with the hot dog. It's weird. Like mustard stands
No,
out, but ketchup like blends in.
I like some must up. I like a mustard ketchup combo. I like to
Oh,
mix that
okay.
up.
No, I know
You
what
know
you're
what I
saying.
mean?
Yeah.
If I'm
Yeah,
having a
yeah.
corn dog, if I'm having a corn dog, but if I ain't having a
Uh-huh.
corn dog, like I don't want it on a hot dog.
Okay, yeah, no. No.
I kind of want the hot dog to shine.
Mm, yeah, if it's a really well done hot I'll say this, brats.
What's a well done hot dog?
The hot dog with cheese inside is the well done hot dog.
Oh,
But I
oh,
was gonna say brats are just the way to go. Like,
no, yeah, don't even
not even
just
close.
miss me with the ballpark Frank.
Right.
Give me that thing with the jalapenos and cheese
Yeah.
inside.
Don't have both. Have one or the other. Because, like, if you have brats and hot dogs, those hot dogs are going to be sitting out there and they won't decompose for the next, like, month. Those things will
True.
just be sitting there. Yeah.
Or you could get really good at just guzzling them and become Joey Chestnut.
Mm, man. What a guy.
Here's the thing with Joey Chestnut, though. Have you seen him? Like, have you
I've
seen
seen
the
him. Yeah,
videos
I've
of
seen
him
him. Yes.
traps and neck? Like his neck is that wide.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like genetically like perfect for
Gifted.
a food eating like champion.
Like that neck could have survived the Titanic sub.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
He's not a big guy either, too. He just looks like a regular guy off the street.
besides that neck,
Besides the neck, yeah. But I'm
the
saying
neck,
he's not like obese or anything.
the neck was getting recruited by Georgia. I heard.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go.
All right.
So, do we do anything different? Sorry,
No.
it's first time being live.
Yeah. No, we don't do anything different. For Spotify and Apple, I'll input I'll cue the music.
Okay.
So we'll
All
just
right,
go.
then. So, you ready?
Yep.
Here's your endpoint. Actually, no, not yet. Ready?
That actually
and
helps out a lot.
what?
When you do, like when I have a cue and I can go back, like especially making TikToks and stuff, where it's like, oh, I know that point. I'm good.
Okay, good. So,
Yeah.
that's what they do on Late Kick Extra with Josh
Oh,
Pate.
okay. Gotcha.
He always goes, Colin, here's your endpoint. And then that's how they make videos. Anyways, Zach, here's your endpoint. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Jared Knox. I'm Chris. That over there is Zach. We're two Oklahoma high school football coaches and former athletes. During one fateful indoor freshman/JV baseball practice, discovered that we have similar interests in all things nerd culture. While you're listening and flying your X-71, the Freedom, hopefully not the Independence, en route to saving the world, stop. Please just put a pause on there as you're passing the moon on your slingshot maneuver, about to go 10 Gs, and give us a 5-star rating and leave a review.
That's right. We're starting our brand new, I guess you'd call it brand new, July movie
brand
series.
new, bro. It's a year old.
This is our, what do you call that? Consecutive
Yeah.
event? Yeah.
Welcome to phase 2. We actually did something twice.
I don't think that's ever happened before. But yeah, where we're going through our blockbuster movie series. And we usually do, a flop, a surprise, one that actually hit the mark. And then we'll probably, what we're going to do is we're going to run into Oppenheimer and Barbie. So that's what's going to end the month.
So I think what we're doing here, we're doing your pinnacle, the epitome of what a summer blockbuster movie is, something that was supposed to be a big time summer blockbuster movie, and it landed, and it hit all your points. And that's what we're doing today with Armageddon, Michael Bay classic from 1998. Love it. And then we're going to get into a movie that came out in the summertime that had a fairly decent budget, but was quite a surprise for how good it was and how well it did. And we'll get to that when we get to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah.
Week. Heck yes. The first one. Then we're going to get into a flop. So something that was supposed to be a big summer movie, go get your popcorn, everybody have a good time, and failed. Didn't live up to the expectations.
Right.
And I think that one's still up in the air, right?
Yeah, we're still, I don't know if we're decided on that.
There's a movie we want to do, but
yeah,
it's hard to find.
Yeah, they've made it extremely difficult.
Let's say this. If you know how to find Super Mario Brothers, the original, Super Mario Bros. With John Leguizamo and Hoskins, Donald Hoskins, not Donald, Bob Hoskins. Bob Hoskins, if you know where we can find that streaming, and it's probably YouTube, that's what we'll do. If not, we're going to have to go into the DCEU, and as much as I want to, I don't want to.
Right. It's a pro and con for sure.
Something along those lines. So hopefully Mario. And then we're going to run into Barbie/Oppenheimer, but also I think we're going to end this thing the right way with a summer blockbuster that hits super close to home and just put an alley-oop slam dunk on this whole month right before we get into football movie month with
Ooh, yeah.
Twister's
I have never seen Twister, so I'm also kind of like slightly rooting for that. I know, and I live in Oklahoma. It
Okay,
shouldn't be a thing.
okay, Zach, stop. We're doing Twister. Oh my God.
Okay.
Sheila's going to be so mad. She's been rooting for Twister. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. So FYI, we'll finish this month with Twister in some capacity.
Yeah.
You've never seen Twister?
No.
Sorry, this is about Armageddon, but dang, boy, you
I
really
know.
screwed that one up.
I know. But anyway.
Twister.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I know about Twister is like, have you ever been to the Science Museum in Oklahoma City?
The Omniplex?
The Science Museum. It's right next to the Oklahoma City Zoo.
I don't know.
Okay.
I've been to the Zoo Theater where I saw Avenged Sevenfold Corn and anyways, go on.
Okay. Yeah, really similar. Yeah, no, they have an exhibit there about Twister.
Zach, I'm okay.
They have like a house you can go into.
We have to talk about Armageddon, but dang boy. Twister? Oh, I can't wait to. Okay, Keela may show up on this podcast at any time. They're not on their way back yet, but they're leaving Edmond from a wedding.
Oh, okay.
This might pop off any minute, and you may have to explain yourself. But we're talking about Armageddon.
Right.
This is the one. This is one where it's a Michael Bay film. It's supposed to be a summer blockbuster, and here we are, a summer blockbuster, Armageddon, and it as far as monetary gain, as far as everything goes, this is a summer blockbuster
for sure.
So hit us with the perks.
Pertinent details, starting off with Rotten Tomatoes. So
also, while you're doing that, I'm gonna go pee.
Okay. Rotten Tomatoes gives this a 43% splat after 177 reviews. The audience score is at 73%. Then for IMDb, gives it a 6.7 out of 10. So just about kind of where we would think it would be. Now, pertinent details, the cast, kind of a star-studded cast here. Top build starts with Bruce Willis, then goes to Billy Bob Thornton, Ben Affleck, Liv Tyler, Will Patton, Steve Buscemi, William Fichtner, Owen Wilson, Michael Clark Duncan, formerly known for his role in The Green Mile, and oh man, Chris is going to hate me for this. What is that movie called? The Fifth Element. And then Peter Stormare, Ken Hudson Campbell, and I think that's all for recognizable people. Grayson McCouch. I think we've all seen him before. But that's the top billed cast. Now, it was nominated, even though the critical scores were not that great, it was nominated for 4 Oscars, and it did not win any Oscars. It was nominated for Best Sound, Best Effects with Sound Effects Editing, Best Effects Visual Effects, and Best Music for Original Song. which is I don't want to miss a thing, which I did not know until this very moment that I don't want to miss a thing was from this movie. I had no idea. Crazy.
You didn't know that song was from this movie?
No.
Did you watch the movie that we're reviewing right now?
No, what I'm saying is I did not know that song didn't exist before that movie.
Okay.
I thought that it was like, they were like, oh, this song will be great fitting into our movie. I didn't know they just came up with it.
We're going to abuse this song for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think my big thing is the critical score being a 43, being so low is kind of expected for a popcorn flick. What I really appreciate is that in 1998, in the end of the 90s, you could have a movie that the critics hated, but it still blew up.
Right.
So, I think one of my beefs with current cinema is the fact that if a movie gets panned by critics, by professional reviewers, it's not allowed to be good by,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's still a sect of audience that just watches these movies and has a good time and is not afraid to say that. But if critics say it's bad, the audience has to turn around and poop on it as well.
Right. I've heard something similar. Like I've heard people, like moviegoers and critics right now, can't, like, it's either great or it's crap. Like there's no middle ground anymore. Movies
You can't
just be fine.
Yeah, you can't have a C+ movie.
No. Yeah, it's one extreme or the other.
Exactly.
One more thing, or a couple more things here. You already said it, but directed by Michael Bay, written by Jonathan Hensleigh, and J.J. Abrams, who is more so known for his work, I guess, in The Force Awakens and The Rise of Skywalker.
And Lost, the best.
I didn't know J.J. Abrams was a part of Lost.
Oh no, he's written. I mean, he's one of the best writers ever. He really is. His name gets dragged through the mud because they gave him the keys to the kingdom with Superman Returns, the Brandon Routh Superman, and so there's that. But
the only places this was really filmed were in California, Texas, and that's about it.
An asteroid.
And on an asteroid.
Filmed on an asteroid.
Spoiler alert, yeah.
Dr. Seuss's worst nightmare.
Yeah. Last thing here, the budget. So their budget was estimated to be around $140 million, which is a lot smaller of a budget than I would have guessed. But again, this is 1998, so I guess that's a little bit different, but still lower than I would have thought. Opening weekend worldwide opened with $36 million, and it has grossed worldwide $553 million. So it's barely made money.
But if a movie came out today and it had $36 million, it's a flop. Like it's out the gate.
Yeah.
It's no good.
Yeah.
Which is wild. I mean, I say it's wild. I say it's wild because, like, you're talking about, like, this is 1998. We're going on 25 years. It's 25 years since this movie came out. You know, it's old. This is as old as, you know, Star Wars, you know, appeared to be when the prequels were coming out, you know?
Right.
So I don't know. It's a different measuring stick, but like if you made 36 million your opening weekend tomorrow, bad.
Yeah, because you've got social media now. Like you've got so many different platforms like Culture Crave or just anybody really that's like digging into the box office numbers and they're like, oh man, yeah, this is on track to be a flop and to not make any money and yada yada yada. And I feel like that plays a factor into people who haven't gone and seen it yet and are like, well, if this isn't going to make any money, why is it worth me going to go watch?
Right.
But that's it for my perks. You
ready for your review? Okay. Reviews from others.
Other humans that have seen this movie.
That have a Google account.
That have a Google account. It's not that hard.
It doesn't make them a reputable source, but it could. Okay, so what I wanted to do with this movie, what I wanted to change up is I wanted to go, because I was getting deeper into these reviews and deeper into like how many should we do, how many should we have on the show. What I decided I was going to do is a 5, a 4, a 3, a 2, a 1. Okay, well, there are no 2s. There are no 2s. So here's our 5-star review. This one is from Bill Knight. Okay. This movie was great. It is probably the best movie of 1998. Michael Bay sure knows how to make a very good movie and not waste any actor's talent in his fine movies. Bruce Willis was great. He delivered an Oscar-worthy performance, and Ben Affleck, Michael Clark Duncan, Steve Buscemi, Peter Stormare, and Liv Tyler were all great. They did a terrific job, and the biggest and most special thanks goes to Michael Bay and Jerry Bruckheimer, the makers of this film. Thanks a lot to both of you. The two of you make a great team. Homeboy loves it.
There you go, William.
And now here's a 4-star review from Katie Donson Brooke. America! Even the shuttle names are cliche. Freedom and independence. All action, little story. Deep Impact, similar subject, different angle appeared at a similar time. In my opinion, it's just way better. So, have you looked into Deep Impact?
No, I have not.
So, Deep Impact and Armageddon are both about asteroids hitting Earth and people going up to go stop the asteroid.
Mm-hmm.
And again, shot from different, not vantage points, but different angles or different scenarios. Where I remember watching Deep Impact. It came out like a month before Armageddon. There's a word they use for it where it's like collective creative mind or something like that. Where it's like, yeah, that was the hot topic at the time. Was like an asteroid hitting Earth, and there were scripts going around, and one studio bought Armageddon and another one bought Deep Impact. I've seen Deep Impact and I didn't like it as a young person.
Okay.
But obviously I liked Armageddon more because there's a PG-13 strip club scene, spoiler alert, and it's funnier. Deep Impact is way more serious. So, okay, so I'm sorry. I apologize. That was my 3-star. Here's my 4-star.
Okay.
Armageddon is a good film. It's 4 out of 5, but I think it is a sequel.
Nah.
No. Wait.
Okay. I'll be patient.
There are a lot of typos in here. I think it is a sequel. They get all the teams back together, go in space, and then they go home thinking they don't everything in need. An alien comes to have to take everybody, and airways panicking, and they go back to space. The final thing I needed used to kill the aliens. This one's going based on the film's Jesus Christ, the first film. I think Ben Affleck should still be in this film if they do a sequel. But I think if they go in space, does it going to planet do a few things and then do to you anything they can take Earth, and then they go after it to go back to kill the alien, and they do a few things on Earth, and they go back in space to get the thing to kill the aliens. They do something, and then I'm going to end the film, and then I think they should do no longer an Armageddon film. They won't have a second one. Should be an hour and 53 minutes.
Dear God. That's like that.
That was written by Cable Cole.
I was going to say, that sounds like it was written by a kindergartner, or I don't even know. That's like that.
Someone who shouldn't have a Google account.
Someone who shouldn't have access to the internet is who that was. Holy cow.
Yeah, that was
how do you get that this is a sequel from that? And why would there be another one?
Here's what I think. I think what they meant to say with that review was they should make a sequel to Armageddon where aliens show up, and then all of the characters from this film that survived, they're national, or not even national, international, worldwide heroes. And then they send those same people back to fight aliens.
That could work.
No, bro, that doesn't work. Come on, man.
I don't even know, honestly. Does Michael Bay even appreciate that? It's 4 out of 5 stars, so it's not bad. But like, he looks at that and he goes like, "I would rather not have this, honestly." If I were like looking up how people.
But just imagine. Okay, let me throw this at you, because we'll get into spoilers on what these people did after they returned. But what if they came back home and they all went back to working on oil rigs or whatever it is they do, and then Optimus Prime shows up in 2007, and now we've got the Michael Bay-verse.
That's one of my points.
I'm not saying that's a thing. I'm just saying, what if that's the thing?
That's one of my points later when we talk about this movie. Is like,
okay.
Yeah, I'll stop.
All right, I got a 1-star here. Okay, here we go. A 1-star. This is from Angela Bamba. Sorry, terrible movie. Good cast, but from start to end, no story. Too close and dark camera angles. All you see is up close faces. Hard to see what the hell's happening and where. Everything goes wrong from start to end, and nothing goes right. Way too much of action accidents. Was boring to watch, couldn't connect at all with the movie from start to end. No stars, utter joke, unrealistic. Never watched such a boring action slash space, whatever you want to call. Wasted a couple hours of my life, to be honest.
Now, a waste, I can kind of get behind that, but you can't say it was boring. You can't. It's not valid.
Last review, 1 star, one sentence. How it should be if you're going to leave a 1 star, in my opinion. This was 2 years ago. Mr. C said, watch Deep Impact instead. This movie is a joke to astronauts and physics itself. Got a big Deep Impact fan from Mr. C. I don't know.
That's it. Holy cow. Just spits in the face of real science, huh?
All right, so it's time for our reviews. Where are you at?
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like when this movie first started, I was pretty low. Like I was like, I'm gonna end up giving this like a really bad score, but it kind of saved itself. Like I think if Michael Bay had some advisors, like, or if I was his advisor, I'd be like, dude, let's just like start earlier. Like, let's not drag this out because, like, to be honest with you, nobody cares about this like side family backstory. We only care about the meteor that's headed straight for Earth. So that part, once we got past the beginning, I was like, okay, now it's kind of picking up. It's getting interesting. I give huge props to Michael Bay on this one because I'm on this kick nowadays where it's like I'm so against like green screen stuff now. Like, you know what I mean? Like not real props, just visual effects props, and people just
Right.
in a studio room, probably the size of the room I'm in right now, but they can do so much with it. But it's still like everyone knows it's CGI. So really good job with the actual physical props and the physical sets. That was awesome to see. I don't know, man. Probably a B minus. I'm gonna give it a B minus.
Cool. No, I'm not gonna hate. I'm not allowed to because this
What do
movie
you mean
has.
you're not allowed to?
I'm not allowed to. This movie is hated or beloved. You know what I mean? And to me, it's one that when I watch it, it's always going to strike a chord where it's like super nostalgic for me. Where I like this movie. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. The explosions, the Michael Bay, the whatever. It's the best of Michael Bay. Where it's like he introduces something and not something but things so ridiculous, so out of pocket, so bizarre that you have to enjoy the ride to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you just buy in, you can have a great time. I'm not saying there's not problems because it's definitely got problems. It's definitely got like critical points. It's like, well, that doesn't really make sense. But at the end of the day, the guy's making a movie, not a documentary. I give it a B plus. I felt great emotions with it. I loved watching this. I really watched it 1.5 times because I watched the first half and then Keita was like, I thought we were going to watch this one together. And I was like, oh yeah, well, sure. Turn it on. Like we'll restart it. I don't care. The beginning is my favorite. And so we rewatched it again. And I watched the first half and then watched the first half again going into the second half. Like I said, had a really good time with it. Do not hate this movie at all. Again, not without faults, not without problems, but man, it's a good ride. It is such a fun summer movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's fun. It's 100%. Like people that I'm trying to think of the word, like people that try to make sense of movies and they can't suspend their disbelief for just like an hour and a half. Like just pretend like it's
or 2.5. It's
Believable.
just
Yeah,
which
like
is too
in
long.
this case, 2.5, which, yeah, it's too long. But yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, we're in spoilers now. So, or
Spoiler alert for Armageddon. You want to go
takeaways.
first? Or you want me to go first? I want to go
Yeah.
first.
No, you go first.
I
Yeah.
lied. I want to go first. I hate the fact that I love the beginning of this movie so much. The first
Yeah. What's
15
wrong
minutes
with you? You just said that, and I was like, what? I just crapped on the beginning of this movie.
the first 15 minutes of this movie are balls to the wall. Just comedy and action and just crazy stupid visuals. You open the film with Charlton Heston, which you can't do
Yeah.
today.
No.
And it's like, oh, the dinosaurs ruled the earth. Don't show the dinosaurs, just show the earth.
Right.
And a meteorite strikes, and you just see the da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na. And I really like the score for this as well, but I don't want to get into that too much. I just think the score is really powerful and appropriate for this. But like that swallowing me there, it's like, oh yeah, this can happen again. And then you see that, and then you see like the next thing is like what New York City, or no, it's in space, and some guy's trying to like take a computer chip out, and they're like, hey buddy, calm down. So you get introduced to who's running NASA. It's Billy Bob Thornton, and you have a good time with that. And then you don't, because like a meteor shower just destroys this guy. My big thing is like, how do they not see that coming?
That was my thing, was like, no one gave this guy heads up. Because I at first I was like blaming the astronaut. I was like, you're in space, you're by yourself. How do you not see that coming? But like, maybe he's busy.
He's focused. He's trying to grab something.
But NASA's literal job is to make sure, hey, is there anything out there that's dangerous? And this guy just gets obliterated by a meteor shower.
Yeah, and his face is exposed.
Surprised by it. They're like surprised by it. They're like, oh, we had no idea.
I think my least favorite part is Billy Bob Thornton is just like, hey, play that tape back. And they're like, dude, he's still dead. Like he's like, play it back. And you see them all get obliterated again. But then you go right into New York City. And, like Eddie Griffith is down there just like, I'm going to throw your fat pineapple eating butt out the window. And this a meteorite hits a guy so perfect that it creates a crater. But Eddie Griffith and his dog are fine.
Yeah.
And that guy's legs are fine too.
By all accounts, I know, right? By all accounts, that meteor definitely, for one, hit the guy. And two, Eddie's dead. Eddie's definitely dead.
That was one of those basketball-sized meteors. Not a big deal. No big deal.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Just take one guy. But now, so as you continue through this intro, I'm sorry, I'm just going to keep going. Because how ridiculous this whole thing is you go from like that, it's like, Little Richard, and then you've got DL or freaking hanging with Mr. whatever. I'm sorry, Vince. You're hanging with another black guy who had his own sitcom show at the time, another black comedian. And that Asian woman's like, I want to go shopping. Me too. Like, he says, Saddam Hussein is bombing us. How dated of a reference are we getting here? And then, so then you, like, without showing the aftermath or the damage that's done, you see this random guy in a field and he sees the asteroid.
Yeah.
He's like, something's burning in space. And his wife's like, hey, your dinner has been over there for like a couple hours. And he's like, go get my GG phone book, get the book. And it's like, and then boom, now we're focused on what the story is.
Yeah.
I just love the insanity that is the opening 10 to 15 minutes of this movie.
It's absolutely
now, before you ever meet the main antagonist, which is Bruce Willis's character Harry Stamper, in Ben Affleck, nowhere you get all of this explosive exposition. I think it's really cool.
Yeah. I will say though that opening title sequence, whenever you're talking about like the initial asteroid, but then it like circles, that Armageddon pop up and explosion looks, and I'm not trying to be, I don't know what kind of technology they had back then, but that looks like your 8th grade film teacher was like, hey, make a trailer for a movie. And they came up with God, dude, that's so bad. I'm sorry.
Spoiler alert, that's not the last time you'll see that bad of CGI in this movie.
No, it's not. No, it's
or
not.
whether you want to call it CGI or whatever, putting something else up against a digital rendering. Because like when you see the space station and the Earth is the backdrop, I'm like, oh, no, that's not good.
Great. Not great.
Yeah.
I will say though, one of my points is that Michael Bay knows how to do explosions. Like he knows how to go wild. And I will say at the beginning, that initial meteor shower, like if you took that role and like you sat that role and then the first Transformers movie and just random explosions, I don't know if I'd be able to tell the difference, honestly. It looks the exact same.
Almost a decade later for Transformers.
Yeah. But that's props to Michael Bay. And I think I touched on my review, but he knows how to do those practical effects and actual like real life sets. Those were really good.
I thought that was cool. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So once they discover that there's a meteorite that's going to hit the Earth in 18 days, guy comes running in. We have 18 days. And then Billy Bob Thornton does a thing where he's like, all right, we need contingency plans, anything you ever thought up and wrote it down on a pizza napkin, whatever you've got. And all these guys come in and they're talking about like, all right, our thought is make a giant laser. And he's like, that's like shooting a BB gun at a freight train. Okay, cool. You're going to be a jerk about this. And then the next guy's like, we want to land a craft and deploy solar winds. And he's just like yells at the guy, we got to come up with something realistic here. Man, what are you wanting from these guys? Like realistic? There's a meteor the size of Texas is about to hit the Earth. You need to explore your options before you start stamping things away. Because I don't, as a Oklahoma educator, I don't know that solar winds wouldn't have worked. But
yeah.
Billy Bob Thornton sure does make that guy feel embarrassed.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. Yikes. Billy Bob Thornton is like, does not seem well prepared for his role whatsoever.
Okay, go on before I make my rebuttal.
Okay, I just mean like in high stress like situations, it feels very just like, and I know obviously this is end of the world, so I guess it's kind of off the cuff. How can you prepare for this? But I don't know. He just seems like not well prepared, and I don't know. He seems like disheveled.
Yeah, but shouldn't he be?
That's what I'm realizing as I'm saying it is like it kind of needs to be disheveled. End of the world, Armageddon.
Okay, but I mean, I think Billy Bob Thornton's one of the highlights where it's like they just like said, all right, man, you're in charge of NASA, whatever that means you are, whatever that makes your title. Fix this. Mm-hmm. You're in charge. Don't call Russia. Don't call Japan. Don't call anyone else that has a space program. Just make it work. Like, because my thing is like, okay, Russia, what do you guys got? Because we've got these like space shuttles. This is not one of my points. It's just piggybacking off yours, where I was kind of upset where it's like, did you tell France? Did you tell Russia? Did you tell these other countries that you guys we have extensive information because we know what's going on because it hit our space station.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did we utilize everything to save the Earth that was on Earth?
Yep. That's one of the things I realized too is like at no point ever does another country step in and be like, we can help with this, guys, right? Like
Japan's like, oh, hey, we have a contingency plan for this because we saw an asteroid get very close to the Earth in 1990. Like we were fully prepared. We just didn't tell you guys. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we go right into this. What a ridiculous notion. Now, I'm not bashing any president of the United States other than this fictional one from Armageddon,
Mm-hmm.
who is addressing the globe, the entirety of the world. He's about to also, he's like, the guy that finds her gets to name her, right? I want to name her Dottie after my wife. She needs a statistic. Anyways, he's about to address the entire world. And you see in like little clips, people all over the world listening to the president of the United States making this speech. And he opens it up with, the Bible calls this day Armageddon. Everybody's like, what? Like, the end of the world? He's just like, yeah, it's not good. But we have the technology now. America does. I don't know what you guys got going on, Russia.
Yeah. Can you imagine how like opposite that is from if something like that happened now? That would take like an hour for them to get to and be like, yeah, and by the way, this is really bad.
Yeah. No, I'm not going political. I don't know enough.
I don't either. One of my points is that Bruce Willis has said that he did not care for Michael Bay's directing style and refuses to work with him again.
I mean, it's a lot of absurd yelling.
It's a lot.
This was my first time ever watching this movie with subtitles. Okay, let me tell you what I used to do, Zach. I used to, when I was growing up, I would watch, if it was on, I was watching it. And then I got to college. And my first 2 years of college, I didn't watch this movie. I just was like, not that I didn't want to watch it, just like it didn't present itself, the opportunity. And then this happened. I got to my junior year and I started having these massive projects, not tests, but projects that I would procrastinate before putting them all together. And I had one really, really big one in the spring of my junior year going into my first senior year. And I was like, oh man, I don't know what to do. So my buddy was like, hey, this is an Adderall. And I was like, whoa, no, I'm good. And he's like, no, here, handed me 2 Adderalls. Okay. And I was like, all right, cool, boom. And then he was like, yeah, take one now, take another one in like 3 hours. Like, well, too late for that. So what I did was I went to the basement of our library at Southwestern College and rented Armageddon. So I need something to be on while I'm staying up all night, putting my my thing together, my project all together. So that's what I did. And I would watch Armageddon. I proceeded to do that at the end of each semester for the next 4 semesters. And it worked great. No. Without the Adderall. Never did that again. That was awful.
Yeah.
For 3 days.
I might have like delved into the Adderall thing a little bit, but I just heard too many horror stories and I was like,
yeah, dude, no, I was like, well, I'm done. And there's still 2 hours before the sun comes up, but I have nothing better to do. So let's watch a documentary about whales.
Yeah.
But I would rent Armageddon. And I got to a point where like my senior year, when I was doing my like final education project, I like went in there like a couple days ahead of time and said, hey, make sure Armageddon's here. And they're like, no one has rented it since last year when you rented it. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool. Just make sure it's here tomorrow. Okay, you want to rent it now? No, I want to be able to walk in tomorrow, grab it, and go to work.
Yeah.
That's how I watched Armageddon.
That's awesome.
It was like on his noise, and then like, oh, a cool scene's coming up. I would like, click tab over on my screen, click, and have a good time.
That's honestly how you need to watch this movie. It's like, oh, that part's coming up. Watch it. And then the rest just like kind of wait.
Yeah, here's one of my points. The fact that I'm watching this the other day before Keela got involved, and she's like, you're watching Armageddon? I'm like, oh, yeah. Let me pause it. They had just launched into space. They had just hit, like literally, you see the spaceship like in orbit, like where Owen Wilson's character, which Owen Wilson, great in this film.
Yes.
But Owen
yes.
Wilson's like, we're in space. We never even made it to outer space. All that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I paused it right then. There's still an hour and 20 minutes left in this movie.
Yeah. No, I know.
We're just now in space. We're not even to the asteroid yet. And this movie's not even halfway over.
I know.
Jeez.
That's one of the drawbacks. It takes way too long to get there. Way too long to get there. This is interesting. So Bruce Willis doesn't want to work with what's his name? Michael Bay anymore. Ben Affleck did not say that about Michael Bay, but he did in regards to the film's premise. Ben Affleck asked director Michael Bay, wouldn't it be easier for NASA to train astronauts how to drill rather than training drillers to be astronauts? And Bay told Affleck to shut up. And the reasoning
shut the F up.
Oh.
Have you ever listened to the commentary by Ben Affleck?
I've heard I don't remember it, but I have heard this before. I'd heard it before.
No, I've heard it. Like I've heard where's Ben Affleck? It's a young Ben Affleck. You can kind of tell by his cocky younger voice.
Yeah.
And, I asked Michael one day, I was like, hey man, this really doesn't make sense. Wouldn't it make more sense if NASA just trained astronauts to drill? And he told me to shut the F up, and that was the end of that conversation. I never asked again.
All right.
I mean,
yeah.
But if you're Michael Bay and you're trying to make this thing that's character driven, I'm I don't know. I kind of support it. I understand from everybody that wants to be, if you want to be uber critical about this, there's no way the Earth, would only send America up there to go blow up an asteroid because we'll blow fingers off on the 4th of July. I ain't know. You know what I mean? So it's probably don't trust those guys with a nuclear bomb.
Right.
We've all got them at this point. Right. Other people probably have better ones.
And it's probably good that people didn't in this movie that other countries didn't go up there, because then they would have seen one of our guys riding a nuclear bomb like it was a mechanical bull.
I'm glad that you said it in that perspective where it's a guy's riding it like a space dementia. What is that? That's not even in Star Wars. That's so ridiculous. We need to throw more wrenches at them. Keep throwing wrenches. We're out of wrenches. Well, one guy goes crazy for no reason.
Right.
Speaking of Steve Buscemi in this, he only took this role because his character Rockhound was supposed to be like an Ian Malcolm type, like Jurassic Park, like a super suave genius, like that scene where he's describing how they misshot the landing and how he's some a genius. He's supposed to be like that the whole time, but once they hired Steve Buscemi to play that character, they hired other people to come in and fix the writing. And they said, Steve Buscemi, let's make this guy a sleazeball who only is interested in women. And Steve Buscemi was pissed and wanted to drop out. Fun fact about that. He was trying to get away from that kind of character, and they screwed him.
Dang. I did not know that.
Yeah, that's wild. Crazy. But, so that sequence, and then it's I've got one. When they're talking, I think it's Owen Wilson's character is what is it going to be like up there? And he's 200 degrees in the shade and -100 and blah, blah, blah. And it's no, it's really not. It's really not that bad. It's just kind of jagged rocks. There's not a lot of temperature they're dealing with. It's not like when the asteroid spins, they're not spinning. There's not asteroid. You know what I mean? Realistically, am I crazy to think that there would this being on an asteroid traveling that fast through space, it would be way worse.
Yeah, well, 1,000%.
The other side of that is if let's say the Chinese show up and they're oh, you guys already got started. How deep are you? Oh, you're not that deep. And then machine guns started firing. They'd be okay, we got to take these Americans without right now.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true. It would turn into a world war a little bit.
when you're loading up the spaceships, and even when they're talking about the armadillo, the all-terrain vehicle that has the drill on it, they're like, take everything that's not necessary off of it. They didn't say, hey, take the Gatling gun off of this. Don't take the machine gun off of this thing. It's just Michael Bay, man. I know, like, there's problems.
Yeah. There's a lot of problems. I was going to ask you this because you've seen this more than me. Do they answer the reason why there is a literal minigun attached to these things? Like, under what circumstance outside of the one they find themselves in would that even have been needed?
I'll tell it to you like this. As a kid, I used to be like, what if there were aliens on there? What if they got on the asteroid and aliens were camped out?
Yeah.
Well, A, you're going to lose. But B, you probably want a machine gun. But the one that Rockhound uses, no excuse.
None.
No excuse. A 9mm just okay. That whole disarming the nuke sequence.
Oh my God.
The president's advisors have told us that we need to blow up this nuke right now, or we're going to lose the chance to do it. Are you nuts? None of that makes sense. Right. Why would we do that?
Yeah, that goes against literally.
Pulls a gun on Bruce Willis.
Yeah, that goes against literally everything that they have been told up until this point. Where it's like, if we detonate this on not within the asteroid, it's not going to work. It's just not. But then that was another thing I had, which I don't know if I hate this or if I love this. That whole sequence where it's like, what is that called? Second protocol? Is that what they call it?
Where they're cutting wires?
I'm talking about when the president is like, screw this. We're detonating the bomb right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Where the gun is, when that guy opens up that door and there's a literal folder that says second. It's like top secret. Second protocol. Shoot
all the oil drillers and blow the bomb up. Don't Also, we don't even know if that gun has bullets.
True.
Like, it could just be a water gun. He's like, I got you. You're all strapped in. We're leaving. Got to detonate the bomb remotely. There's not going to be an Earth for us to return home to, but this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And all of this hate, all of these criticisms, for me to come back around and say, holy crap, Ben Affleck, Harry, I love you. Harry, no. And then Harry.
Yeah.
And then I've got a daughter now, Zach. And it just.
Oh, yeah. As it hit a little bit different.
Crying like a baby. Like right now, I'm thinking about it. Dude, it's just, it's great actors overcoming crappy circumstances is what this was. And man, it's not that there's like incredible actors. It's just like these guys just like bought in and like followed his direction. And Michael Bay's film, although like ridiculous in premise and ridiculous in a lot of the points, it still is able to carry a really strong emotional weight. He's also still really good at developing characters. Like, you care about this.
He is. Like, there's a reason, and it's probably because I was a child, but there's a reason why I liked the Transformers like movies, because they were like fun. The characters were developed enough, and Michael Bay knows how to do action. He just does.
We may need to watch Transformers.
Dude, I'm kind of a Transformers fan.
Yeah, I can tell.
But, yeah.
All right.
Is that Armageddon?
That's Armageddon. What do we give it? B+ and B-?
So we're at a B. Yeah. A collective B.
Okay, here's the thing. I don't care who you are. You like explosions? You got testosterone running through you? For you, man. It's a good
Yeah.
time. Michael, okay,
Mhm.
we didn't say the name one time. Michael Clark Duncan is hilarious.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Peter
yeah.
Peter
Yeah.
Stormare is the Russian. Incredible.
Yeah. One thing I
God,
do
I love this
one thing I
movie.
do
I
have
love
to
this movie. I'm
one thing I
telling
do have to say is that uh I'll need to look and see like which came out first. But even though I knew that Bruce Willis was going to stay on the asteroid, when they were all standing around trying to like decide who was going to stay, and they turned to Michael Duncan, I'm like, he's going to stay. It's the Green Mile guy. He's going to stay.
you.
It's
Sorry,
like
Vince. All
it's just
right.
like it's just who he is.
No, guys. Well, get them straws. I'm staying. So my big thing when I was a kid was like, what if it hadn't been Harry or AJ? Like, what if it was
Oh.
Rocktown? It's gonna let him die. He wants to. All right, we gotta stop. I'm figuring this movie
Nah,
out.
hang on. I got my theory can't work because the Green Mile came out a year after Armageddon.
Yeah,
So there goes that.
no matter.
All right.
Also, what do these guys do when they got home? Nothing. Hopefully, nothing. Hopefully,
Yeah, hopefully they just get left alone.
they
Yeah.
went out to Epstein Island until it got shut down.
Oh, yikes.
No.
All right. That's it.
That's it. Okay, so what do we do now?